What's up, peeps? You guys are gonna die at what I'm doing. Is this even connecting? Okay. Streaming. Okay. Okay. This is just going to be quick today, you guys. I can only do this for 20 more minutes. I have something so fun set up. I don't know. Can I even share it? Let me see. What's up? Happy Thursday. Things just don't work out sometimes. You know, I think I said this yesterday. I was supposed to have a call today, and then there's always something that happens that comes up. And so that's not happening. So we're pivoting because I'm a professional. But I am in like crazy talks on my Instagram right now and let me see here. Of course, Instagram isn't working. Boop, 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 boop. What's up, people? All right, let me see the chat. Chat. All righty. Okay. It's been a crazy morning, everyone. Been a crazy morning. If you are on Instagram, when I say it's been a crazy morning, you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. I want to answer any questions you guys have. And I'm also like multitasking something else that I'm doing. So, good morning. Freaking Instagram. Allow. Let's just chat. Okay. I'm getting new. So someone gave me the feedback a couple weeks ago that I need a new profile picture. They said that I look like an MLM boss babe that's like ready to sell people stuff. That's funny. I don't disagree. So I had a professional like brand photo shoot a couple weeks ago, and this picture should be coming in soon. So I'll have a different picture soon enough. It's funny, every time I look on my platforms, that's what I see. That's all I see now. Let me see here. Okay. I'm waiting in the chat for y'all people. Okay, so I got a message. Let me see. No. I got a message on Tuesday on my TikTok from TMZ. Y'all know TMZ? It's the news platform. They asked me to come on their TMZ live. And so that's what I'm like preparing for. They send over some options of things to talk about, and then you can kind of like pick what you want to talk about. I gotta say, when I got that message, I started sweating and hyperventilating because I was like, this is live. This is TMZ. This is a crazy opportunity. Recently, I've been not manifesting, but gearing up for things to happen for me. And I've had to work through my own internal stuff. Like, am I ready? All that kind of thing. Am I ready? What if I fail? What if I expose myself? Like all of these natural and normal fears. You know, people talk about the fear of success. And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say this is success or anything, but being online, it's a crazy journey. It's unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what direction things are going to take. So anyway, I've been like recently working through my own stuff around that. Like, What if when an opportunity comes, I'm not ready? I got a message from some people that identify as estranged parents recently. They messaged me and asked me to come on their live. And I was like, neither of them followed me. I looked at their content. We did not share anything similar that as far as I could see. And so I was like, oh my gosh, am I just not ready for this type of thing? And then I was like, no, I am. I'm okay in a safe environment. So anyway, that's just been on my mind. And then I got that message from TMZ and I was like, okay, it's happening. You're ready. It's time. So that's what's happening later this morning. I don't know. I can't figure out what time it is. I think it's 11:30 Pacific. So that's, 9:30 Pacific, 11:30 Central. You can tell my mind is all over the place this morning. I'm also having this huge discussion on my Instagram right now. I posted a video from No Nonsense Spirituality. I might see if I can play it. No Nonsense Spirituality TikTok. Okay, I actually want to know what you guys think about this. Let's see if I can play it and you can hear it. Okay, here it is. This is a crazy hot take, okay? I posted this on my Instagram story and with like no title, no nothing, and got a bunch of feedback. So here's it. Let me see if we can even hear it.
Patriarchy, I always get this message. Whenever I'm talking about the Epstein files or patriarchy, I always get this message of just like, okay, guys, like this wasn't it. Let's all go back to Jesus. And this is going to be hard for some to hear. I, for sure, 10 years ago would not have been able to hear it because I had just had too much internalized patriarchy. But we've got to deconstruct Jesus too. Because if we put the supernatural stuff aside, you know, how he created a God out of Jesus years later, and just look at historical Jesus, what are we really honoring and praising him for? He did what? He was kind to women. He was kind to children. He wanted people who hurt children to be stopped. He feeds people. He sees people who are marginalized as real people. He cared more about the heart of the law and embodied law in your experience rather than just like scriptural peacocking. Do you know who that sounds like? Every goddamn woman I know. And then people will say, oh, he's the perfect balance of masculine and feminine. Why do we only value the feminine when it comes in the form of a man? And then people will say, but he died for you, like he died. And I am sorry that he was crucified. That is a terrible way to die. But he in no way died for me. Do you know who actually put their body on an altar for me and bled for me? My mother. Why are we honoring the spilt blood of a man when women, when they turn 12, start bleeding for humanity once a month? And instead, we don't honor it, we call it unclean, and then we tax it. For all that women do to bear and support humanity, how can we possibly feel okay about giving all of that credit to a male God and then all the credit for goodness into Jesus when Jesus is just the average woman that I know? Now, if you want to include Jesus in a group of mystics and mystic wisdom and work with parables and things like that, I'm a fan of that. But if we are trying to deconstruct the patriarchy and we're still putting Jesus on a pedestal, I think we have a long way to go. No More Kings includes Jesus too. And historical Jesus wouldn't have wanted this pedestal anyway. If he really wanted to be the king of everyone, he would have written something down. He didn't. And neither did anyone who knew him. Whenever...
hot take alert. I posted that on my Instagram story yesterday because I was like, damn. And then a few hours later, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but my audience is pretty split. I don't know if 50-50 is the word, but have a lot of deconstructed secular followers. I have a lot of atheist followers. I also have a lot of religious followers, a lot of Muslim followers, a lot of Christian followers. And so all of that intersects with what I talk about, which is marriage and family. And so I'm definitely like selective with what I share. People have taken issue with like, oh, you share this type of stuff, but you don't share this type of stuff. I'm not a totally neutral party, just saying I post what like resonates with me. I do want to get to a place where I post more a range of things to get people's, because I want to hear from everybody about stuff. I've been having the most fascinating discussion about it. So anyway, I posted that video on my Instagram story, and then a couple hours later, I was like, dang, I feel like I do need to put context to this and say like, hey, if you're religious, you're still safe here. From my point of view, you ultimately decide if you're safe. You get to decide what those factors are. But from my point of view, there's no judgment. I'm not telling you what to believe and not believe. Like, just to be totally explicit and clear, when it comes to religion, when it comes to political party, when it comes to these kind of macro, like other systems, is up to you. I don't really care. Like, I don't care. I really don't. I don't even care if you stay or leave your husband. Like, just because I'm a marriage and family therapist doesn't mean I like believe in marriage at all costs, believe in family at all costs. Like, I don't at this point. I'm a systems therapist. And so I look at the marriage and family in terms of from a systemic lens, looking at the individual systems, because yes, individuals, we are our own system. But in a family, we're also part of that system. So when it comes to the intersection of all of those other systems, religion is a system. Whether it's Christianity, Islam, whatever, that's its own system, and it intersects with what we do. So when it comes to like other things like that, beyond my scope, I don't care. Like, I want to draw parallels between all of it and talk, like, intersectionality is important. It's kind of like talking about women without talking about Black people, without talking about, Hispanic people, like women. And because the context is very important. So it's hard when you're focused on marriage, family, and people in general, and relationships, to not talk about all of those other systems that certainly play a part. We are a result of the external systems we live in. That's part of it for sure. So I hope to share more of this as it goes on. Up until now, or like last week or a couple weeks ago, I was pretty hesitant about going there because I was just like, I don't want to be another polarizing thing. How do I separate my own personal views and like, because I care so much, like, first and foremost about being a safe person and my page being a safe space for all of how those intersect. And so that's just been like in me. How do I do this? And then it was like, Kate, you cannot control everything else. It's almost like, how do I decorate my house in a way that aligns with how I feel and makes other people comfortable? At the end of the day, it's my house. And if I'm overwhelmed by other people, I'm going to choose what's best for my house because it's my freaking house. So that's the same how I feel with this page. This platform is I needed for myself to do what I needed to do. So that's why I started talking about this stuff. So I'm having this fascinating discussion on my Instagram right now. I'm reposting messages I'm getting, and I always add this stuff in a highlight. But again, I posted that video. I went back and I was like, hey, I know you guys are religious. Please know you're safe here. Like, there's no judgment, or I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. It's such a personal thing. Nobody is ever judged and is equally loved here. Please message me. So people have been messaging me, and I'm like, yes, I am so personally curious about all of these different points of view. Because ultimately, just because I'm a therapist, just because I'm online, doesn't mean I've interacted with every flavor of person and every system that there is. And so for my own personal, like, heart and soul, I have so much curiosity towards people in these other systems. And I'm learning so much. And I'm also learning people are the more I learn about this, you guys know I talk about all unwanted behavior comes from unmet needs. We need to recognize when we're judging things. When you take that point of view towards everything, it kind of is a crazy worldview. Like, it really shifts your worldview and your view on people. And to be able to do that honestly and genuinely, I think you need to have done that in yourself. Like, you cannot just your point of view be on the outside. Like, you are a full person with a personality, with experiences that are worth looking at just as much as anyone else. It is part of my personal belief system that we're here to love ourselves. Like, Viola Davis said recently, like, someone asked her, she's been married, I think, for 30 years. And someone asked her what the key is to her marriage. And she said it was that you are the love of your life. Like, me, like, I am the love of my life. And I thought that was really interesting. And it plays to a lot of what I talk about when I talk about attachment, detachment, and connection of like attachment, going from attachment to detachment. I mean, let's draw it. Fuck it. Let's do it. Attachment, detachment, connection. Going from attachment to detachment involves a decentering process, because this is you in the middle and someone else or these other systems or like beliefs are consuming you and your worldview. And so part of detachment and what we talk about in family systems is making sure your husband, your wife isn't this bigger circle. That's not healthy. And so going from attachment to detachment is being your, like, separating your own system, looking at yourself, your emotions, your needs, desires, and then as something separate from your partners. So that's what, like, I'm trying to do here. And so anyway, I've gotten so many interesting comments. Let's see. Comments like this. Oh my gosh. So there's so much information, you guys. I swear I'm like tapping under the table all day. You know, I do my morning tapping videos. I am very much like regulating all day. Emotions are always going. Do y'all know that emotions are energy in motion? Like, emotions are happening all of the time. When we have a buildup or we have a breakdown, I've heard a lot recently, like, oh, I'm not very emotional, but I cry easily at movies and music. And I'm like, that's a buildup of everything, though. That's not just like the movie itself or the situation itself. That is a buildup. Emotions are happening all of the time. And just because you're not posting online, I mean, if you're parenting, if you're working, I remember when I was learning this stuff all in therapy school, I was working part-time also because school requires you to do 15 to 20 hours a week of an internship. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to work full-time and do an internship. So, what am I saying? I saw a chat thing and I was like, oh no, got derailed. That's on me. But just saying that, I remember working part-time. I was doing this sales job, this sales consulting job. And before that, I did a sales job where I had to make so many calls a day. And I just remember being in that job being like, I need a job where I can actually process my emotions in real time. Like, I manifested this. I wouldn't say I prayed about it, but I sat with it and I was like, I asked the universe, this is what I need. This is what feels right and healthy for me. I can't just be regulating myself in between all these 60 calls I have to make today. So I'm not willing to be a robot anymore. Like, I can't just shut it off now. So I really need, I need a new environment. And it was crazy. It was like very soon after that happened for me. So anyway, all to say is that emotions are happening all of the time, and we have to regulate. We have to be aware. We have to tap. We have to listen to that. Listen to what's happening inside, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. You know, when people say like, listen to your inner voice, they're talking about your emotions, your thoughts, your needs, and your desires. You know, I've got to go now because I'm, again, doing this fun thing. I'm going on TMZ Live to talk about something. But if you think about this in terms of, can you see this? Yes. Your behavior is just the expression of what's happening on the inside. That's it. I mean, ideally, behavior is really socialized. Like, our behavior a lot is dictated by our outside environment rather than what's happening inside. And my goal and a lot of what I'm doing is to try to help people understand their insides, their emotions, needs, desires. That's what's happening inside. That's their voice. That's who they are. That's shaped by their experiences, their personality, their temperament, their like culture and community, but that's the inner system. And we want that to reflect in our behavior. And if you guys don't know, BEND, my acronym here, is to help you understand your own unwanted behavior so that you can understand your own unmet needs, unattained desires, unfelt emotions. And when you can go from the inside out, ideally you can change your behavior to something that you want. So, you guys, catch me on TMZ Live today. You can go, I think it's Facebook and Instagram. I don't know, but I think they start in like an hour. I have a little test call now. And so, yes, things are happening. I'm sorry this was so short today, but this was important. I would be here for another hour if I didn't have this. So great to see you guys. I'll see you next week, next Tuesday. See you soon.